Is he really running for the presidency, or is this a big publicity stunt? The wife knows the truth. What is it?
Look, he doesn't need the publicity stunt.
No.
He's successful. He will make a decision prior to June. And he's very passionate about the country. He's one of the best, the most brilliant negotiator mind out there, like genius's mind out there. And he wants to see that country one of the best on the world. We all know the troubles in America nowadays.
Yeah.
And he wants to see everybody doing well. The issue is about bringing jobs back, bringing jobs to the country.
Right.
And he's very passionate about that. And I see that people really like it. They like it what he's saying. He's saying the way it is. He's not a politician goes in the circles, around and just to talk.
No, he's very direct.
He's very direct. He will say what he thinks, and, you know, he gets the job done. He did very successfully with his firm, with his organization.
Yes, but you know, I don't know what skeletons he has in his closet, but everybody gets vetted when they're going to be president. You know what that means, vetted? They're going to look into everything. He's had a few wives. He's had financial difficulties. All of that's going to come out. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
If he decided to run, he knows that's part of it. And, you know, he's very passionate about the country, and he's taking a very serious look at it.
But what is this with the birth certificate obsession? Did he ask to see yours when you met him?
I needed to put mine anyway, because if you want to become an American citizen, you need to put the birth certificate.
Right.
I have a birth certificate from Slovenia. And do you want to see President Obama birth certificate or not?
I've seen it.
It's not a birth certificate.
Well, it's a certificate of live birth, which they give. But Melania, if he insists on what he's saying, then no one in Hawaii can ever run for president, because they all get the same live birth certificate.
Well, but they need to have...
Miller is finished, for example.
They need to have, and in one way, it will be very easy if President Obama just show it, and because it's not only Donald who wants to see it. It's American people who voted for him and who didn't vote for him. They want to see that.
But it's on display in Chicago. We've seen it on the internet. We've seen it. It's not the same as yours, but it's a certificate of live birth.
Well, we feel it's different than, you know, birth certificate.
All right. Well, I think you should give it up at this point.
Well, it's not him that it's bringing up. It's the media all the time. His points are really about bringing back the jobs, economy, healthcare, all the stuff. But, you know, they leech on that one issue, and they're going on and on and on.
Because they think that he's being obsessive about it, and that
no, he's not. He's more obsessed about, no, I would not say obsessed. He's very passionate about the country to doing well and to, you know, to be what it was once before. Because can you imagine next generation, the children, our children, how they will do it's just going down, down, down.
Well, we were doing great during the Clinton administration, and then somebody came in, I'm not saying who.
The only people who...
It was a rough night for everybody, I think. You know, we're worried. The people are worried, you know. Okay, he's the president, now what? We're watching you, okay? Yeah. I don't know what scares all the rest of you the most, is that not since George W. Bush has there been a White House, a Senate, and a House of Representatives all from the same party.
Wait a minute. Did Joy Behar say what I think she just said? Listen to this again.
Not since George W. Bush has there been a White House, a Senate, and a House of Representatives all from the same party.
This is why idiot variety talk show hosts should stick with topics they're familiar with and stay out of politics. Joy, let me refresh your memory all the way back to 2008. I'm sure you're familiar with Barack Obama winning the 2008 presidential election, but do you remember this Democratic moron? He was the Senate Majority Leader with 57 out of 100 seats. Do you remember this crazy Democratic kook? She was the Speaker of the House with 257 out of 435 voting members. Maybe you can hitch a ride out of this country with your pal Whoopi Goldberg.
So, they like it. Now,
Some folks are not laughing about it. They say he lied for the White House plenty of times, so it's not okay to normalize.
I sent an email to April Ryan. Remember April Ryan? Yeah. She's a journalist, and he took her on in March. He said, I'm sorry, please stop shaking your head. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So I know her, so I wrote to her and I said, April, do you think the Emmy audience normalized Spicer? And she wrote back and she said, I could quote her. She said, did they really enjoy it? I thought they were in shock. He minimalizes his lies, meaning Trump's lies. People are angry over it. Twitter was on fire. Sean can laugh at himself if he wants. It seems others are not. He owes people an apology. And I think that part's true. I can get him. Yeah. I do. I think that the fact that he's a liar. Trump lies, and then he and Sarah Huckabee and the rest of them who have to go out there swear to the lies. And I think that they all owe the American people an apology, including him. And then I'll have fun with you, Spicer.
Listen, I think Hollywood and the media need to lighten up. I think they need to lighten up. This guy had a sense of humor. His job as press secretary was to... That's your job. Your job is to lie. Your job is to... If the president says something, you have to defend them. He went out there. There was such a reluctance...
Your job is to give the truth.
No, but his such
to
a
tell
reluctance...
the truth to the American people.
Look, if you looked at the audience, reluctance to laugh. Oh, if I smile, what will... It's ridiculous. Just have a moment. Then you watch the whole show, and it's all anti-Trump. I say it all the time, and I made this a key point here. This is why Trump won. Because when you make it Trump versus Hollywood and the media, Trump wins. When you marginalize Trump the way they do here on these award shows, you marginalize his voters. That is a big segment of the country that felt ignored.
The left.
No,
his marginalized.
But this is Hollywood and celebrity.
Wait. So I'm sorry. Having come from there and being a celebrity, I don't like that being painted that way. Now, there's a lot of rotten stuff that goes on. Yes. Do people have to lighten up a little bit? Yes. But I have to tell you that if you decide to just say this is who the issue is for, you also marginalize the rest of the American public. Yeah. So the issue really is, listen, Sean, people want you to say, look, I did what I was supposed to do. I did what I was supposed to. I did my job, and no, it wasn't as great a job as I thought I should do. And I think people will be fine with it. Because there's nothing you can do when these guys are faced with their commander-in-chief who says, go out there and this is what I need you to do.
You don't have to take the job. You don't have to take the job.
But he took listen, don't yell at me, first of all.
I wasn't yelling at you.
All right. Don't yell at me.
I wasn't yelling at you.
He didn't take the job before he knew, or maybe he took the job before he knew what kind of person he was with. I don't know. But I just kind of feel like we've been faced with all kinds of folks in that position who have told all kinds of crazy stuff. And I think what irritates me more than anything is that no one is saying, hey, when the person is doing it, we need to not do it when they've left, not get mad when they're gone. Get mad now. With Miss Huckabee, she's in there. Right. Start doing it now.
Yeah. But the thing is,
cut in some water. Yeah. We'll be back.
The very shy and retiring Ann Coulter is an 11-time best-selling author whose latest book is called Adios, America, The Left's Plan to Turn Our Country into a Third World Hellhole. That's the title. Sounds like a perfect holiday stocking stuffer to me. Please welcome Ann Coulter. I could ask you two questions. One is, about Trump threatening to boycott, and the other is about Snooki having sex in the car. The question is... Go ahead.
Definitely Snooki.
Okay, what do you want to say about it?
First of all, I'm so glad I'm doing The View, so I found out about this. I was just watching you backstage. You don't get the real news watching the other channels. I guess that's one way to get your husband to have sex with you. He was driving, and I sat on him. Why not? And then I tied him up and attacked him. That's when I conceived my child.
Okay, would you ever try to do that?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right, let's get to politics. Because Republicans seem to be coming to terms with the fact that pause, Donald Trump may in fact be the nominee.
I've been saying it all along.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what happens if he runs against Hillary? He'll be demolished. The woman knows the stuff.
Fantastic, and I think he's exposing really both parties and how much control the donors have. He's saying things that people have been dying for someone to say. But they won't because their donors, in the case of immigration, want the cheap labor. We saw it with Scott Walker. Trump comes out against anchor babies. Scott Walker tries to agree with him and saying, oh, I'm against anchor babies too. And then billionaire GOP donor Stanley Hubbard steps in and says, no, we're for anchor babies. And suddenly Scott Walker drops that as his position. Same thing with the 12% tax rate.
You can't just, if you disagree with him or go up against him, you drop out. You lose the money.
Well, no. You can't take positions that most Americans, I mean, it's Donald Trump and the American people against the political class and the donor class. The same thing with his tax plan. And I mean, I love him for immigration,
but the donor class is the Koch brothers, let's say, for example. Are they going to put their money behind Trump?
Probably not, but who cares? The people are for him. That's what we're finding out right now. Look at all of the money Jeb Bush had. And by the way, both parties with that 12% rate on hedge fund managers, Hillary Clinton was on the finance committee. I'm sorry, that is unfair. And it takes Donald Trump saying no hedge fund managers should pay the same as Ann Coulter does. It takes him saying that because the donors have been stepping in saying, no, we like paying less than everyone else.
But wait a minute. I remember you already sold.
Okay, do you think he can win? You're paying a higher tax rate than hedge fund managers.
That's on this because I remember seeing you at CPAC in 2013 saying that we shouldn't have a businessman, that we should have either a senator or a governor, and you said, in fact, it's got to be from a big state, not something the size of Rhode Island. So at that point, you were against the businessman. What changed your tune?
Donald Trump. He's the one exception to this rule. I also said we shouldn't be running divorcees. I'm altering that for Trump, but don't expect me to hold it to it going forward.
You also said you had a height requirement. You don't have a hair requirement?
I have a height requirement. I love this hair.
Do you really? Were too short. You had to go like, line them up against the little clown in front of the roller coaster.
And why can't they be divorced? They can't be divorced?
Well, actually,
Ronald Reagan was divorced.
The reason I'm generally against the non-governors running is I call them the novelty candidates, the businessmen. I mean, whether it was Herman Cain, Michelle Bachmann, Newt Gingrich, even you see it a little bit now with Ben Carson. They're not prepared for the rough and tumble of politics. They say things and sort of box themselves in, and also then they get bored and just say, I'm going home. Trump has been through all this before. He's been so attacked. I mean, if you were in New York area in the 80s, Spy magazine was going after Trump constantly. There's no new scandals were coming out.